Hey, it's Justin Prime. This week I'm going to talk about my future life as an artist. I'll also be taking the Artist Inventory Challenge and holding myself accountable to my goals. Plus, I'll discuss a tool I'm using, someone I follow, someone who follows me, and we'll learn what the Lab 5 weekly challenge is. Welcome to the Jprimecast. You may have noticed that the intro changed a little bit. I fucking love that song. That is by Benjo Beats, or that track. I don't know what to call it, but that's Benjo Beats, and it's called Debut, and I've loved that. He's let me use that probably for a few years now, and he was just so kind enough to give me an updated version of it for the podcast here. I asked him, and then in exchange, I gave him a portrait of himself that he could use for whatever the hell he wants. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But God, I love that intro. I hope you like the new one. That's the most recent edition of it. He's going to keep tweaking it. But oh man, I love that. Before we get rolling into the podcast, I'm going to open up my Instagram right now. And I'm going to be talking to someone. Originally, I was doing this. If you've been listening since the beginning, you know I did this because I was kind of nervous about the podcast and just talking to myself in a room into a microphone because it's weird. And so I started talking to someone from Instagram, the last person in my feed. I don't need to do that anymore. And actually now I have a community that I can talk directly to, the Jprimecast community on Discord. But this has become a tradition that I really enjoy, is looking into my newsfeed, seeing who the last person is and talking directly to them. So this week I want to make sure this is not a kid because I feel weird about that. And I can't tell. So I'm moving on to the next person. All right, 23-year-old. Shouldn't be excited about talking to a 23-year-old, but here, Pizza Hex Punk, who is an artist, it looks like, and oh wow, okay, you guys got to check out Pizza Hex Punk. It says 23 pan, your friendly neighborhood art hoe made with 100% dumb bitch juice. That is an incredible little tagline there. So, Pizza Hex Punk, she is an artist. I'm looking through her stuff right now. Very cool. I like it. It's got a really cool sketchy style to it. So this is for you, Pizza Hex Punk. I'm talking to you today. Hopefully you're listening. By now I've bugged you in DM to let you know that I talked to you tonight, whatever it is for you. But welcome to the podcast. Let's get going. So Pizza Hex Punk, thank you so much for following me and for showing up in my newsfeed. I always appreciate the interactions that I get from my followers. I like to know who people are. I have a pretty good amount of followers, and I have no idea, obviously, who many of these people are. So that little who I'm talking to gives me a chance to, get to see one of you guys and see what you're up to and give you some appreciation on the podcast. So thank you very much. Today I want to talk about what the hell am I talking about? Oh, in the Discord community, which you should know about by now, and if you don't, it's a community that I created for my listeners. It's a direct component of this podcast. You can listen to this, and that's fine. But if you want to take that extra step, there's something called the Jprimecast community on an app called Discord. Discord is a gamer app, but we don't use it for games. We use it for art stuff. If you're listening to this, you are invited to come. It's not something I announced anywhere else besides the podcast here, maybe during like an interview or something, but it's not something I announce on my Instagram feed where most of my followers are, because I don't want anyone and everyone there. I want the people that are taking their art a little bit more seriously and aren't just like enjoying my Spider-Man pictures, but are actually listening to what I have to say about art in general and about my process and about comic book creation. So those are the people that I want to join the Discord community. So yeah, if you're listening to this, just hit me up through DM or email me or whatever, and you're in. Because you listen to this, congratulations. So in the Discord community, in one of the channels, it says it's a questions channel, and one of the community members, Black Fly Press, and he is a very passionate independent creator, which that's who I want there. It's really cool. I'm glad he came in. So Black Fly Press asked about what our short and our long term goals are as artists, and I think specifically as comic book artists. And my answer to that was I don't really know. Um, and I'll go into that, but like I have a job that I really like. Um, it pays well. I have good hours. I work with good people. My boss is awesome. And it's honestly it's really fulfilling. You guys might know that I don't want to talk about what I do, but because I drop it here and there, but I don't want to go into it. But it's a very fulfilling job because I'm directly helping other people that really need it. So it's very fulfilling in that way. It's also defeating at times, but for the most part, it's very fulfilling. And I get paid well. I have a shit ton of college debt, so I need to get paid well. But regardless, we're moving on. So I don't know. I can't really picture what my life would be like as an artist. And it's not really a goal of mine. Honestly, my goal is not to do comic creation professionally. I guess if I had an opportunity to do that through my creator owned stuff, I'd probably pounce on it, but I don't really have much interest in doing that otherwise. Like I think I've kind of realized that. And I think that, uh, as comic artists or artists that we assume that, I'd like to work for Marvel someday. I don't say DC because I just don't say DC. So Marvel would be like the ideal, in my opinion. And you would think that like drawing Spider-Man would be my ideal, but it's really not. Even I really enjoy drawing Spider-Man and Venom and other things from the universe, but I just can't picture myself doing that month after month. So like it's just not in the cards. Like it's just not a dream I have for myself. When I was 15, maybe it would have been, but I'm so enjoying my job, my real like my career, and I'm so enjoying what I do as an artist right now, even though I really enjoy what I'm doing now and the level that I'm at and my growth and the podcast and I mean all this stuff. I get so much out of it. I love it, and I've found like some different kind of fulfillment and happiness through it than I get through my career or my family. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I don't know, but I'm trusting that if I continue this, that it will lead somewhere. And if it doesn't, that's fine because I'm really happy with it. But I truly believe this will lead somewhere, and that might be me jumping on an opportunity that I see as far as like joining a podcast network. That might be something I'd be interested in, or me, getting published through a smaller like publishing company like Action Lab or Boom Studios or all those kind of places. Um, but I mean, I'd have to make some changes. I'd have to be creating a lot quicker to make that happen. But I don't know. Like I think if an opportunity appeared, I would jump on it. But I also think I'm willing to create opportunities for myself. Like I keep thinking about having this podcast be under the umbrella of a network. And that's not a huge priority for me, obviously, because I haven't jumped on it, and I really want to keep building this thing before doing something like that. I'm really happy with the way it is right now. It's not like I feel like I'm not good enough, and it's not this anxiety thing of like a lot of times an artist that and I've heard people say like I don't have enough followers yet, so I'm not going to do a book, or my skills aren't good enough yet, so I'm not going to create the book. It's not. That's pretty much exactly what I'm saying, but it's not this anxiety like not good enough kind of thing. It's just I have these other goals in mind that maybe I'm bullshitting myself right now. You tell me. Fuck. All right. Maybe I'm bullshitting myself. I think I want to have more leverage. I think I want to have this podcast be bigger in the community to grow, but not too much because I like it small. That's what she said. Um, never miss an opportunity. I think I have, and honestly, I'm figuring this all out. I'm figuring out the editing of the podcast. So all this stuff, I'm still in like research experimentation mode. So, joining a network or something is not a priority, and I don't think I have much leverage to bring anyways. Um, yeah. So, I mean, the fact that I'm spending so much time thinking about the podcast and not about my comic book should say a lot too. Although I spend a lot. I mean, obviously, I spend a lot of time thinking about the comic, but the podcast has become a really big priority for me. I mean, if you can tell, you probably should be able to tell by how much content I'm producing for it, but this has become a very, very big priority, very big deal for me. I love it. So yeah, right now as an artist, I'm just trusting that I will find an avenue to pounce on, or that one will open up, or if not, I'm cool with that. I'm super happy with what I'm doing. My life overall is very fulfilling. Um, I'm challenging myself as an artist right now with my fundamentals. I've been working on that pretty hard. With comic creation, that is something that is every issue I'm challenging myself in a new way. So that's another avenue where I'm feeling fulfilled and I'm feeling a lot of growth. I know, like, as far as working in the future, I don't want to work for someone else. I already work for someone else, but especially as an artist, and I'm okay with that. But especially as an artist, I don't want to work for anyone else. That's like I started majoring in art, and I stopped after one semester because I hated doing what the teacher told me to, and that's when I realized, I probably, and this was in college, like I probably shouldn't be doing this as a living, and that's when I switched to a whole different major. That's something else I was interested in, and that I thought I could grow in. Um, so I don't want to work for anyone else. I don't want to, that's so that's pretty much ruled out. I'm not working toward working at Marvel. I see there's artists that I follow that do sample pages and whatnot. Like, that's not me. I have zero interest in doing that. I'd rather use that time for my own stuff. Um, and then, like, obviously, like, the creativity aspect of it, like, it's me, it's mine. I'm being creative. It's so fulfilling. I keep saying that word, and I think that's the reason. Like, this is mine. This is my time, my creativity, my love, my passion for it. And I just assume, and based on what I hear from other artists who are working professionally in comics, that that gets sacrificed. It's just, it's not as pure. And that's what I'm after right now, is just growth and challenge and create. Just being creative and having fun and enjoying myself. And so I've already met that goal. Like, I'm doing it, and that's not a goal that will ever be fully met. So I'm kind of good there. Um, I turned down a paid comic proposition a couple of weeks ago, and every now and then people will come to me and say, with interest in me drawing their book, and usually it's not a serious thing, or if they see my rates, they get kind of scared away. And I charge a lot because if I'm going to choose to go to someone else's project, it really needs to be worth my time financially, because I'm sacrificing my personal art time. That's the way I look at it. So I turned down. This person seemed serious. They seemed really serious. It was a new, independent comic label they were starting, and he had some partners he was working with. He said, apparently it was like a prince from Nigeria or something. No, I'm kidding. But it seemed like a legitimate thing. Um, it seemed legitimate, and we talked, and he really liked my style and thought I'd be a good fit for it. And I said, okay, let me think about it, and I showed him my rates, and he wasn't scared away. So that told me something. Um, and he was wanting to hire an artist for an ongoing series, and I don't know if it was a set number of issues or what, but so I was kind of interested, but not really. And I knew that. I felt that I wasn't, like, totally into it. So first off, like, why would I accept something that I don't financially need it? Why would I accept this if I'm not totally into it? And I don't really need the money. My family and I we do fine. And making art money is not obviously, I mean, I've said this a number of times, it's not a priority for me. So the next morning I wrote to him saying, I just said, I'm going to pass on it. It's not something, I don't think I really explained why. I just kind of said, no, it's not really for me. And then I referred him to an artist that I thought would be a good fit. And I guess he wasn't, but they checked out this other artist and it wasn't a good fit for them. And I guess he said, like, this, he told me, like, yeah, that artist has another style we're looking for. So I guess they knew what he wanted. And when he saw my work, that was it, which is cool. But yeah, so I mean, here I am, turning down paid or potentially paid opportunities and really having no regrets about it. So that tells me a lot. I feel like I'm on the right path, and I don't know where the path leads. Um, the other thing is like, so money's not a priority for me, but neither is followers. Like, I don't know if the amount of followers to me matters for my future. I think it's an asset to, if I were to join a podcast network, that's an asset. But what does matter to me is the depth, not the width of my followers and fans. So the Discord community is exactly what I want. It's perfect. It's tiny, teeny tiny. We have less than 20 people, but it's a really good group of people that are very supportive and encouraging, and there's great feedback going on. There's so much positive there, and that's what I want just for myself. If I wanted, if followers were a priority for me, it's just funny that I got a DM from someone just saying he enjoyed my artwork and he'd been following me for a while, and and I asked him, yeah, where'd you see my artwork? And he goes, I saw you on YouTube. And I'm like, YouTube? Because I have a YouTube channel with lots of stuff on it, but like next to no views. I get shit views on YouTube. So I'm like, you saw me on YouTube? So that was pretty shocking. He goes, yeah, a few years ago, I was looking for custom shoes and I saw your stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, the custom shoes. That's kind of where I started back taking art early. I'm sorry, seriously, was doing custom shoes, custom apparel. And that stuff has the most views. And it's still kind of picking up on views. Not huge, but if followers were important to me, I would have kept doing that because I was successful in that era, in that way of getting views and people, following me. And that's a pretty niche thing. I think that I could have done well there, but I lost interest, and I knew it wasn't something that was going to be for me long term. So yeah, followers aren't a huge thing for me. It's nice, and I think it'll be an asset, but not a big thing. Money, not a thing for me at all. Um, but creating my own shit is a huge deal. So whatever I do in the future, it's going to involve that. It is now time for the artist inventory challenge. Let me just go briefly over my major goals. Actually, this ties into the previous section there about my future life as an artist. I have a major goal of becoming more of a mentor on a group level and also on a more of a one-to-one level, like I'm doing with Brendan Metcalf in the J Prime and B Dog series. So mentorship is a major goal of mine, and I have no idea how to make that happen, but I'll get there. And then community building, that's also a big goal of mine, building the independent creators community. And I want the people that are amateurs. Like, there's independents out there that are doing quite well, and that's not who I'm looking for. I'd like to interview those people and talk with them. But I want the people that are figuring it out, just like that's what I'm doing. I feel like I've figured some things out, and I have some info to lend and whatnot. But that's me. I'm figuring stuff out, so that's who I want to connect with. But yeah, let's go into the artist inventory challenge for me. All right, so the artist inventory challenge. Man, this week was a big failure, but also not. All right, so let's take a look at my projects. The first one is Skulldieer Stories issue 3. This is my creator-owned, but shared universe with Funnel. Creator-owned title, Skulldieer Stories. The next one is Astro Pig Book 1. The third project that I have is working on my fundamentals. This one I'm going to remove it as a project, but I'm just going to follow up on it since I've talked a lot about this. And the fourth project I have is community building. This is the social media and podcast one. Now it's just under community building. So let's look at my obstacles here, or my fails. First, Skulldieer Stories issue 3. I did not meet any of my goals that I talked about last week. So, yeah, the script is not done. It's not entirely done. I think I'm like maybe halfway into it. I got stuck on how I wanted the battle scene to unfold. I have the opening dialogue and intro to the characters. I think I got some really good stuff in there. I like the way it feels more than my previous 2 drafts. This is my third rewrite of it, or my second rewrite, I guess, my third draft. Um, so I'm really a lot happier with the quality of the way it is now. But it's not done, so I didn't meet my goal. Fuck me. Uh, I also did not meet the goal of designing a weapon. I started doing that. I didn't put much time into it. I don't like where it is. And honestly, I'm coming up with a huge goose egg on this. I don't know what the heck. So I do know the characters both have 2 handheld, I'll say pistols, but it doesn't have to be a pistol, but some sort of projectile firing weapon. So a gun. Um, but I don't want it to be, something that we would recognize, because this takes place well in the future with alien technology, so it should be something we don't recognize. And like I can't. I'm stuck in the box of what I recognize. How do you think outside that box? So I probably should be doing more. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should be doing more research into like sci-fi concept design, weapon design. I have someone I can talk to about that. I should be hitting him up and getting some ideas and doing some brainstorming. So yeah, I have a solution to that, which I didn't think about until right now while I'm saying the shit out loud. So the weapon design didn't happen. The script is not done. I also did not put any more time into the landscape design, the environment, and that's a big deal for issue 3. So just fail, fail, fail. Oh well, I learned from it and move on, right? The issue here for these, so there's some obstacles just in my way of thinking, because all I can reference from off the top of my head is what I'm accustomed to, and that was a block. But now I have a solution for that, as I just came up with. The other obstacle for me was time. Now this has traditionally, or since this podcast began, really, time has been an issue because I have too many projects. So time is not really an issue, honestly. It's the project's an issue. But I didn't spend any time on Astropig this week at all. All my time went to the podcast and issue 3. Sorry, that's actually wrong. More, you know what? Okay, so this is what happened, right? Time was an issue, but because I did. I still took on too many things. So yeah, that's on me still. All right, fine. Let me adjust my mic. Okay, so I didn't do anything on Astropig, but what I did do was a couple of lingering illustrations that I needed. I had to get them done. Like I didn't want to like have these lingering while I'm working on issue 3. So kind of as a way to declutter, I got these things done because they weren't done. And that I didn't owe them to people, but I wanted to give these to people. So my wife has been asking me a lot recently for a picture of a strawberry. She's really into strawberries right now. She has a new office at work, and she wants to put that up on her wall. And I put it off for a couple weeks, but I thought it'd be, I was like, I want to do it for her, but I also thought it'd be a good opportunity to practice fundamentals and my coloring marker skill. So I put a lot of time into that. I really wanted to get it right for her, and I wanted to feel good about it, and I wanted to really kind of practice some fundamentals there. So it took up a lot of time to get it right. And it wasn't like anxiety a lot of time, like it's not good enough, it's not good enough. It was just I kept tweaking, and until I felt excited about it. So maybe it was not good enough, but I'm really happy with the way it came out. The process was actually a lot of fun. And what else? So, and then I also did a portrait for Benjo Beats. He did the opening music there. He's let me use his tracks like for years now, and I've always felt bad because I think I did one sketch for him of his niece or something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. It may be one of his son, but I always felt like I owed him, like I owe him something. So he offered to let me use Daybeers again for the podcast, and he even offered to like tweak it for me, and it's like I wanted to give him something, so I gave him I did the portrait for him, and I did 3 variations of it, one with flats, one with cartoony, one layer of shadow and highlights. And then I did another version with more of a painterly, sketchy style, which I'm developing. So this was a great opportunity to practice fundamentals, just like the strawberry was. And I'm really glad I did that for him because I just felt like the right thing to do. And he actually has an album that I think he's releasing fairly soon, and he'll be able to use that for the album. And he was really excited about that. Okay, so yeah, there was a couple things that I just felt like I had to prioritize. It felt like the right thing to do, and I don't regret it at all. So my personal stuff got put on hold just briefly, just a little bit. I think there was one more project that I took on that I'm not remembering. Oh yeah, I did the 2 covers for issue 3. That wasn't a goal of mine, and I probably kind of jumped the gun, but that was a whole other thing that was, I put a lot of time into that. So time is not the problem. It's me choosing to do other things besides Sculpture Stories issue 3. But I don't regret it because I think it was the right thing to do. So those were my obstacles for the week as far as that project for Sculpture Stories. For Astropig, I put 0 time in Astropig. Sculptures is the focus. That's my priority right now. On top of those other couple of things I did. So Astropig, just sorry you got no love this week. Actually, he got the opposite of love. I think a couple of people in the community killed him for last week's Lab 5 challenge. They killed off Astropig. Like, that's just fucked up. Not even I would go that far. All right, so Astropig got no love this week and got killed a couple of times. One guy had him on a fucking spigot, like he was roasting Astropig. That's just messed up. And then another guy said he killed Astropig, or his character killed Astropig. I forget who this was. Damn it, I want to say it was Jonathan. And then he drew in his picture, he drew Astropig's jetpack with the energy meter like down. And he told me that his character was flying around in the jetpack so much he was using up all the energy. That cracked me up. So yeah, Astropig got no love. He got killed a couple times this week. All right, so the fundamentals. This was not a targeted practice thing for me. It wasn't exactly a project, but it kind of is still. I mean, it's going to be in everything I do. So this is still something I'll probably comment on. But as before, I was targeting and working and practicing, a few times a week. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to implement it into what I'm doing. So I was able to do that with, that'll come up next in the successes. But yeah, fundamentals got no practice exactly, no targeted practice. And then the community building, I don't think there was any fails or obstacles with community building. Maybe the amount of time that I'm putting into the podcast, because this week I released 4 episodes. I did there's a bunch of stuff that came out, a lot of content that came out this week, and I have no regrets. I love it. And hopefully it helps people out. The podcast is growing. So yeah, no, I don't think I had any fails for the podcast. No obstacles there, So I'm totally fine with that. If I were to scale back on the podcast and do just the Jprimecast once a week, I didn't do any JP reads. I didn't do any of that. I've scaled back on. I'm not sure if I want to cancel that or not. But if I were to cut back on interviews, and not do any more mini cast and did just the Jprimecast every Monday, that would open up a lot of time for me. But I don't want to. The podcast is a big deal to me right now, so I'm not going to do that. That's a delicate balance because the goal is to create the community of independent creators. So I kind of have to be creating. I have to complete stuff. I have to create. I can't just say that I'm a comic creator or an independent comic creator and then not create an independent comic. That's just, so I really have to do both. I have to be able to create while I do the community building, Yeah. I'll just put that out there for now. I don't know what I want to do with that because this is funny. This keeps happening to me where I can't decide what to do. So a few weeks ago, I was deciding Astro Pig versus Sculptor Stories, and I said, I'll do them both and see what happens. And that's kind of where I'm at again now. So podcast, I'm not going to give it up, period. But I could cut back in certain areas. And then Sculptor Stories, I'm not going to give that up, period. And I don't think I can cut back anywhere. And if anything, I need to amp it up with Sculptor Stories. So what might end up happening is that I do less for the podcast. That should be what I end up doing. I don't know if I'm going to fall through with that though, because I really, really, really like it. And I feel like there's something here for me. I really like doing the interviews with people. I want to do more artist inventory challenges with people, especially. Oh, and I want to do shit. There's a lot of stuff in the community, in the Jprimecast community. We were talking about doing like a live feedback through the voice channel in the app. We could even do it through a live stream, like on YouTube. But that's a whole another project that would be so cool to do, and to record it and release it as content would be phenomenal. Yeah, this is going to be tough for me. So I'm going to do them both. I'm going to do the podcast and Sculptor Stories again, and let's see what happens. So yeah. All right, so let's look at my successes here. I kind of touched on these already, but for Sculptor Stories issue 3, I did 2 covers. This was not a goal of mine. I felt like I had to, in a way. Like I wanted, my goal, or something I talked about last week, was just to get started on the issue 3, because I've been kind of just, I don't know, not moving on it, not starting. So my goal was like, just start the damn thing, even though my script isn't done. So the cover was a great way to get it started. So I created a Clip Studio Paint file for issue 3 of Sculptor Stories, and I started on the cover. And then I'm glad I did this, honestly, because it opened up a whole new storytelling avenue for me. So what I was doing was I thought the cover was going to be Lance and Annie, the twins, on the same cover. And I tried a couple different layouts, and I didn't like the way they looked, and I thought, why not do 2 covers that combine? And I did, for issue 2, I did 2 covers, and I did a tiny print run of each, like 25 each, through a printer, because they can do small runs. So doing this again with 2 covers that combine was kind of perfect, and I have a printer that can handle that, so that's ideal for me. But on top of that, doing those covers and doing the characters helped me kind of think about the characters more. So that was a big win, to help just develop them. But I don't want to ruin it, but it gave me a really, really cool idea for a storytelling element that I think I want to implement, but I'm not sure. But I'm not going to ruin it, because I haven't seen anyone else do it. So I think it's pretty damn original. That's not a word I like to say much when it comes to art, because nothing's original anymore, but I haven't seen this done anywhere else. So I'll use the word original for now. I'm sure some jackass will tell me someone did it, but for now, it's original. So yeah, I did 2 covers, and yeah, so I did 2 covers. Also with the Sculptor Stories issue 3, I started the script. I'm like halfway through, and it's a lot better. I feel like it's a lot better. The first draft of it I did, actually a long time ago, probably a couple of years now. Holy shit. Was just like a basic narrative, beginning, middle, and end. It didn't go too heavy into the universe at all. It didn't really add to the universe that I'm creating much. It was just like a safe story. And then it set up issue 4. It wasn't that special, I don't think. It was good. It was fine. And then I didn't like it after a while, and I completely rewrote it. Just started over from scratch. And the rewrite was this super heavy on action thing. It was like every other page was, actually, pretty much it was I still kind of want to do this, but it was basically a book of double splash pages, double page spreads, and then storytelling elements on those double page spreads, which actually I think is a really cool idea still, but the plot, the dialogue, and the storytelling became very, very thin, and it was just this balls of the wall action heavy thing, but it sacrificed a lot in other areas. So now I've done 2 very different scripts, and not happy with either of them anymore. And so I started this one. This is the third writing of issue 3, and I'm a lot happier with it. I'm kind of combining the best elements from both of those, plus adding more world development, which is, I think, that more that needs to happen. More world development, more character development, and I think it's just better. I'm really excited about it. I think it's just way better overall. So that's where I'm at with Skulldieer Stories. It's I do hate that it's taking this long, but that's just, I don't know, that's just the reality of where I'm at right now. And I do have, time is an issue. I have a career, I have a family, and that was actually a huge obstacle this week was family shit. My wife was complaining about me being on my phone too much, and I feel like I'm good about it. About drawing, my tablet or being on my phone. I usually wait. I wait until people are in bed to draw or podcast. Or if the kids are occupied, I'll use my phone. I wait until I feel like I have an opportunity to. But my wife thought otherwise. So on, what was it, on Saturday morning, I think, she was talking to me about this. And I was like, you use your phone way more than I do. And she does, way more. And so we had this agreement to be like, all right, let's not use our phones. And no, actually, the agreement was, let's see who uses their phone more. So I'm like, I'm going to win this because I know she uses her phone more. And so she's like, all right, well, let's write down how much time we spend. I'm like, I'm not going to write it down. I'm not going that far. But it'll be pretty obvious pretty quickly that you use your phone more than I do. And shit, we didn't use our phones all day yesterday. Really at all. I waited until she was asleep. And it killed me because I was, my shit was blowing up. I was seeing my little blue light flash. There was stuff going on. I wanted to be a part of it, but I wanted to prove to her that she uses it more. But she didn't use it at all. She really didn't use it at all. So we were both kind of neck and neck. And then this morning, same thing. I was ready to use my phone. I like to check my phone right away in the morning, once the kids are having breakfast or whatever. And I didn't, and it was killing me. And I was like, she's not using hers either, and she seems fine with it. And I realized, oh, you know why? Because when she uses her phone, she's just dicking around. She's just playing tap tap fish or watching videos of dogs, And when I use my phone, I'm talking to people in the community. I'm responding to DMs. I'm outlining the podcast. I'm working, So she can step away from hers and not sacrifice anything. But I can't step away from. I can't step away. But me stepping away from mine is like cutting into my productivity, and that really kills me. That really kills me. So I'll have to talk with her about it because she knows how important everything is to me, and overall she's supportive of that. So I got to make sure that I do. I know I sneak it in as much as I can, and if I thought I was being respectful of my family and their time. But if she's commenting on it, then maybe I'm not doing a very good job of that. So that was an obstacle, but, maybe a learning opportunity if I'm going to, I'll swallow my pride and say that. Damn it. But for real, though, she uses her phone way more than I do. It's just stupid shit. Yeah. So Astropig, there were no successes, and that's okay. I think that's a project that I'll kind of poke at here and there. If I'm bored, which is, I can't believe I'd be bored, but if I need a break maybe from doing something, I'll poke at it. So no successes for Astropig this week. Sorry, and I know people like Astropig, but I'm just, Skullders is kind of it for me right now. Fundamentals. The successes here are I did the Benjo Beats portrait, and I'm really happy with how those came out. Each version, I think each has its own unique, positive, good qualities about it. But it was a great way to practice those different styles of coloring and adding highlights and shadows. And I feel like I'm making a lot of progress in that area with my fundamentals and rounding things out. And what was interesting just to realize was like when I colored it with flats, all I'm doing is coloring in the lines, you know. And same thing with the one layer of shadow and highlights. I realized all I'm doing is coloring in the lines. But when I did the more painterly values focused, I'm not just coloring in lines. I'm actually giving it form, you know. And that kind of hit me that I'm giving it shape, not just a shape, but a form, like it's round, you know, that you can tell the head takes up space. Um, and it's, you know, so that was a great, I was really happy with the way it came out, and it was a really good opportunity to practice fundamentals. And yeah, that was great. I did 2 covers for Skulldieer Stories, like I said, and in both those covers, I really focus on fundamentals. So I have 2 light sources for each character, and I've got some great feedback on those. What was really cool, I think that I did was I think I pulled it off pretty well, because a couple of people like added their own idea of what the light sources were or what was happening in the story. And I even showed it to my wife, and she kind of shared her thoughts on it. And so people were understanding what was kind of happening in the scene, and that the 2 characters were having different experiences of the moment, which is what I was going for. So the covers were a fantastic opportunity for me to practice fundamentals and this more painterly, sketchy style, which I'm liking a lot. So big successes there with fundamentals, in my opinion. And then the strawberry, it was cool to do with my wife, obviously, but as far as fundamentals, another terrific opportunity to practice. When's the last time you heard someone say terrific? So I'm really happy with that. And then also, yeah, for the covers, well, I didn't say this, but for another win for Skulldieer Stories issue 3 was I learned about the characters. I thought up a new storytelling element. It helped with character design. I'm sorry, with character development. But also in the 2 covers when they're put together, there is a story there that will come up in the book. But it's a story element that gave me a chance to kind of show an aspect of the story, and it also gave me a great opportunity to show the difference between Lance and Annie, because they're both in the same scene, but they have different experiences of that scene. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to share more about that. Hopefully, I pulled it off. Take a look at him on my Instagram, and hopefully, I pulled off that they're having 2 different feels in that moment. But yeah, that was just. I'm glad I did that. I put off the script and I put off other shit, but I think that was a win overall. I think it was worth it, and I got 2 covers out of it, so that's cool. What else? So wins with the community building. The first one is the Discord community fucking kicks ass. You guys are awesome, man. I'm getting a lot out of it. I know you guys are too. There's some really good engagement, involvement. A couple people have dropped off. I'm gonna have to check in on them and see what's up and see if they're doing all right. Because I worry. But yeah, it's great. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. There's so much positivity, growth. There's some like real time growth happening quickly. Like that's just it's awesome. There's challenges going on, not just Lab 5's weekly challenge, but just the way we communicate with each other, kind of challenging and pushing each other. Some really honest feedback going on. It's a great community, huge win in my opinion, and it's rolling pretty well. I think overall pretty well. And then another win for the community that I'm building is I did a talk with Brendan Metcalf for our J Prime and B Dog series. He's grown a lot. He's got some wins under his belt. Just his victory is just building himself up. That's adding this stuff to the community, even though this stuff doesn't get a lot of listens and views. It's there, and there's so much good content in there. It's there, for anyone who wants it. And then I also did I have 2 answers. I did an answers for Jason that uploaded this week from the dude behind Dream Fury Comics. I love his name now. I can't remember it. Newton Lelevoix. And I will be interviewing him this weekend. I can't wait for that. If you're in the community, I'm gonna ask you guys, what questions do you want me to ask Newton? from Dream Fury Comics because I want to have a good interview with him. I did an answer. So there's answers for Jason. There was a talk with Brendan. I uploaded a podcast on Monday, and I did a mini cast about Gary Vee and the impact he's had on me. So there's a lot of content that came out this week, which I think is all really helpful. Hopefully people are getting some out of it. And then like this is I'm not slowing down. I have a interview this weekend. I want to do the feedback chats with the group. There's just so much stuff. I'm rolling. I'm loving it. So my goals for this week, because talking about this shit is all well and good, but if I don't do anything with it, it's just a waste of time. So the goals for this week are, this is the way I wrote it. I wrote complete the script, seriously. So number one, I have to complete the script, like seriously. That's the skeleton. I have to fucking complete it. Number two is, yeah, I design the gun. So what I wrote here was design the gun for real though. Like it just, and the hand. So the gun, I have to, yeah, I don't know if it's a pistol. I don't know what the hell. So the gun I have to design, and honestly, I might need help with that. I might have to ask people. Design the gun, but also have to design the handheld melee weapons because I don't know what those look like either, and I don't want to give them both swords. I would like to be something kind of unique. So just the weapon design for real though. And then my other goal for the week is to complete the Lab 5 weekly challenge. If you're in the Discord community, you already know what the challenge is, and you got a head start on it. I do want to complete that this week. It's just like a simple sketch, I think is okay. But it's another really cool idea, really fun one that's going to come up pretty soon. That is the artist inventory challenge for the week. That was a lot. So let's move on. All right, there, Pete, Hex Punk. I hope you enjoy the artist inventory challenge. Each week I talk about a tool or two that I'm using that I do or don't like. I have a couple that I do like a lot, and this is specifically for people that are into podcasting. And I know I'm not an expert on this stuff at all, but like I'm figuring it out. And there's a couple of people that listen to this that I know do their own podcasting or are at least interested in it. So I think if you're going to do podcasting, I would definitely recommend that you get a pop filter, which just kind of clears up some of those strong sounds from like a P or a K. It just kind of, when you do the P sound, a whole bunch of air comes out of your mouth quickly, like a little burst, and the mic picks it up. So a pop filter is a super cheap little thing that just goes in front of your mic. I use a Blue Snowball mic, and I bought a pop filter from Auphonics. I'll put it in the description. Hopefully you can see it. And it was like $12, I think. Maybe it was really cheap and totally worth it. And then I also got a mic stand arm thing. It's from InnoGear. It's a mic arm and it clips to my desk pretty firmly. And I can, bend the arm and bring it closer to me, farther away from me. I can, so now I can like sit back in my chair and talk a little more casually if I want to. It's more comfortable. Before I used to have to lean forward, lean on my desk and talk directly into the mic, or bring the mic up somehow, like put it on a box or something. So it's just this little more professional. I think the sound quality is better. I did some tests and I like the way it sounds. So this is for you. If you're into podcasting, I definitely recommend it. Or if you just want to record your voice and you want to sound the best you can, so far I'm really happy with this. So who do I follow that has kind of stuck out to me? This week I had a hard time thinking of someone because I don't know. Nothing really jumped out at me that I could think of. And I was looking through my Instagram feed, and there's tons of cool artists out there, but no one jumped out at me as like, I have to talk about this person. So what I did was I'm going to give you my top 5 artists on Instagram right now. This is something that we did in the Discord community. We talked about each person, or a bunch of us shared who our top 5 artists are right now. There was a pretty good amount of overlap. But for right now, these are the ones that kind of really get me going the most, get me the most excited and inspired. This can change week to week. But this week, these are my top 5. And maybe, and honestly, like what it was a tough question in the community. It was tough because, and I think I'm the one who asked it, but it's tough because it's like your top 5 overall. That's a huge question. Really, it should be more like your top 5 3D artists, your top 5 game artists, your top 5 comic artists. That kind of, it should be more specific. But my top 5 artists in general, and this is not in any order specifically, but so number 1 is Creature Box, and this is actually 2 individuals, but you must be following Creature Box. I believe it's just 2 individuals, yeah. Just so good. Just the amount of energy in what they do, and their creativity, the creature design is, and the execution is unbelievable. Joe Mad, Joe Madera, it's Joe Mad X. Man, I wish he would post more, but he's got shit going on. I get it. But the same thing, energy, execution. He's got that cool pencil, sketchy style he was doing in the comics, or in some of them. It's just, he's obviously a must follow. Ramos Land, this is Humberto Ramos. He's been one of my top artists for quite a while. But if I were to drop 1 or 2 people, I think he'd be one of them off the list. He's overall really good, obviously, but I don't know, something's kind of lacking there for me recently. But overall, he's still up there for me. Number 4, Sean Galloway Art. He used to be, I think he used to go by Cheeks Galloway, and then he dropped that account, and now it's Sean Galloway Art. He also has Table Taffy Studios that he does. So he's phenomenal, and he's a dad too. And he's just, I don't know. I know it's really important to him, so I respect the hell out of him, on that level. But also as an artist, he does his own creator-owned thing with Table Taffy, and he has his professional stuff he does. I think he's done not Turtles. He does Star Wars right now. I think some Star Wars comic. But he's incredible. His shapes, his proportions. It's so much fun. I mean, it's just when I see his work, I feel happy. And then my last one, number 5, is Iron Pinky, Edwin Huang. He's really obviously phenomenal. His Street Fighter comic stuff is really good. His his convention commission artwork is really high standard, and he does it on a big size. Like he's definitely top level. I think if I was to drop 1 or 2 people, he might be up there from the top 5. But he's still up there for me right now. Who's following me that stuck out to me? This is David.B.Reed. David has been just another one of those really cool, like really supportive, really engaged followers. Like I wish they were all like this. Actually, no, I don't. I can't take on that much. But I have a handful that are just that cool. That are that great fan follower. So he likes my stuff. He's interactive, but he also looks at my stories and he'll respond to my stories. So he's just seems like he really likes my stuff, and really that feeds me and it keeps me humble at the same time. He's very encouraging. He likes my Venom work, and I think he backed my Kickstarter also. He was at least asking about it. So he's just, thank you, David. And it's just, you're super cool, man. I want you to know how humbling and how appreciative and how thankful that I am. So thank you, man.
Hi Justin, Luke here with another weekly challenge. So just before we get moving on the new challenge, just want to do a quick recap on last week's, which was the Top OC challenge, putting original characters versus original characters. It was a ripper, kicked a lot of ass, got a lot of involvement on Discord, on Instagram with our community there, and they had a great time. And I think it really did well for developing their characters and our characters as well. So probably going to follow suit this week and do another character development type challenge. So this week the challenge is going to be called OC Social, and we'll use the hashtag OC Social. What it'll involve is original characters probably doing activities that they wouldn't necessarily find themselves doing, say in their comic, just to explore their personalities a little bit more and dive deeper into what they're all about. So just draw a character in a social situation with the other OCs and post it up.
Luke, thank you once again. That's a really cool idea. So we're going to draw our original characters in a social situation with someone else's original character. I love this because in the Discord community, like it's all about boosting each other up. And what's really cool is it helps spread the word about other characters. So yeah, let's do the challenge. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the challenge, and that kind of scares me. Yeah, besides killing the other character, I don't know what to do. Thank you so much for listening. We have come to the end of the episode. If you're still listening, you definitely belong in the Jprimecast community. It's only by invite. So I have no idea who you are. I don't know who's listening to me right now. So you need to DM me and let me know that you want to join the community. It's perfect support for beginners just like you, just like me. It's people that are amateurs figuring it out, that are actively creating or want to create. But yeah, if you're listening, you belong. So hit me up. I'll send you an invite and you can join. You'll get practical advice, feedback from other independents, inspiration. You'll get motivation, collaboration, and more. There is no cost. I get nothing out of this besides feeling tremendous about myself as a human being. But no, for real, it's like it's good times. I think the more the merrier. There might be too many at some point, but right now it's small, it's cool, it's fun. So yeah, hit me up. We'd love to have you join. Yeah, but thank you for listening. Appreciate it.